Let's hop right into it, baby.
Spider-Man. What are we doing? We just doing the scores?
Yeah, let's just hop right into it. This is going to be our non-spoiler portion of this.
We'll clearly
review.
mark any spoilers. If you're clipping this, mark spoilers. If you don't, we will blow up your house.
Yes, we will reiterate that when we get into spoilers. But this is the non-spoiler portion of the review. We're starting with our scores. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to say this sentence, but here are our scores for Spider-Man Brand New Day out of 10. 3, 2, 1, 8 out of 10.
I think I'm going 9.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I will say this before we get into anything else with the majority of this review.
Yes.
Like you said, Spider-Man is a religious experience.
Yes.
He's obviously my favorite superhero of all time. He's potentially my favorite fictional character of all time.
Yep.
I love Spider-Man movies. I love this character. And obviously I love the MCU and all that. So like, this is something that I 100% need to sit with. You know me.
Absolutely.
A lot of the times, like for something to solidify, like I need to watch it again or sit with it for a bit. And Spider-Man is at the top of that list of things I need to do that with. So being able to, I'll do my best, but I'm seeing it at least 2 more times this week.
Yep.
And to be able to like really digest and know where it is in the pantheon of Spider-Man and stuff like that, I do want to come back to it.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it for the rest of the year. But
we'll continue to talk about it for the rest of this podcast,
yes.
I imagine.
So that's my caveat for any ranking or any thoughts that I have.
This is just right now.
Yeah, this is our first thoughts.
8 hours removed from seeing the movie.
Yeah.
Right? So
I could go up, could go down, legitimately.
Exactly, because you didn't give Across the Spider-Verse a 10 out of 10 after going to the world premiere of that. But now you probably give that movie a 10 out of 10.
I got higher on Superman as the months went on. I was high on Superman to start with, but it's even higher now.
Absolutely.
So, and then I'm what am I lower on?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You gave a 7 out of 10 on release.
Lower on that.
Yeah.
So anyways.
So I want to say, obviously, you are probably hearing on social media. If you follow us, you probably follow a lot of our friends. A lot of our friends got to attend the world premiere last night, and a lot of them came out. Sammy J, for example, who's staying with us, says it's the best Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2. You're going to be hearing a lot of reactions like that. I feel very strongly that it is not that, and I don't think that opinion will change for me. I do have this written down. People are going to be upset with me. Haven't given this movie the rating I gave it, even though a lot of y'all probably haven't seen the movie yet. But just let me remind everybody, I am lower on the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. So when someone says that it reminds them of Spider-Man 2, I agree. I'm just lower on Spider-Man 2 than you probably are. So that's something else. It's like, if a lot of people went into this movie hoping for a certain vibe, and I do think they achieved that, it just wasn't. I'm going to say that to me, Spider-Man Brand New Day is really, really good. But it didn't reach that great for me.
I mean, it's like, okay, so in terms of, is it the best Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2? I mean, we can talk about that. For me, the only exception would probably be No Way Home, because we're very high.
We are not talking about the animated.
No.
Because Sammy was, which I think is a bit silly.
Ooh, okay. No, I mean, Into and Across, I don't know if it touches those in certain aspects. It is different, live action versus animation. I get that. And we're very high on No Way Home. But no, I don't think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever. There's great fun action. Obviously, you see that from the trailers. This is just my 20-foot view of it real quick. It's really good. Not the best Spider-Man movie. Great fun action. Some really good Spidey, Peter Parker stuff that's really, really good. There's some great moments with all that. I like the side characters. We obviously see them in the trailer. You get Hulk, you get Punisher, you get some of these people. I think they're great. And like I said, I need to sit with it a little bit longer and watch it again. But what non-spoiler stuff do you want to do first?
I can say that Spider-Man Brand New Day reminded me a lot of my experience watching Fantastic Four First Steps for the first time, where I think the opening is really, really strong and like introduces us to this new life of Peter's after No Way Home. And I buy it immediately and really well. I love the opening for that. And then in the middle, I think there's some of the strongest stuff in the movie, like in Fantastic Four. Some of the strongest stuff of the movie is in the middle. Maybe some exhilarating stuff. But I do think the ending, without getting into any spoilers or anything like that, in the same way that Fantastic Four, the ending is kind of my least favorite stuff in it. I feel that way for Brand New Day. A lot of the
I think I disagree with that quite a lot.
stuff, I know I usually don't. I never tout my ability to argue. I've said to you many, many times that we're an argumentative show. We debate a lot on this show. And I don't think I'm nearly as good of an arguer as you are.
It's hard to be good at arguing when you have such bad points.
I genuinely think I'm going to convince you on so many things about this movie.
You might. I'm very interested.
I think last year with Fantastic Four, you convinced me to be higher on the movie walking out of that review. And I don't want to do this, but I do think I think I can bring up things that are going to make you like this movie less, unfortunately. So it's just general stuff. I agree with you. I think the biggest highlight here is the action by far. We'll talk about it a little bit more in spoilers because I want to get into some things. But if somebody said that Brand New Day has the best Spider-Man action we've ever seen, I love that take. I think I agree with that. There's some action sequences that had me floored.
Yeah.
So absolutely agree with that. I'm Mr. The MCU is Gray guy. The best or second best MCU looking movie ever. It's colorful. It's just got great colors. There are some shots that it's just two characters talking and the shot is from behind a doorway and it looks spectacular. It's just the colors are great. The red on the suit is popping. It's just nice to see a superhero movie with color again.
Yeah.
So that's a big plus for me. A lot of people are going to rave about Tom Holland's performance. Tom Holland has always been my favorite Spider-Man, and I think a lot of people are going to come out of Brand New Day being like, yeah, he's the best Spider-Man after this. I think he's phenomenal as always in this movie. I agree with all the things that people are going to say. He's emotional. He's great. For me, it isn't the best Tom Holland performance.
What is?
I still like Civil War the most. It's just so Spider-Man to me. And then the emotional highs of No Way Home, I don't know if that'll ever be beat for me. His performance when he's like, stay with me, May, stay with me, May. It rocks me to my core every time I think about it. And so I think about the emotional highs of No Way Home. And something, just a real quick thing that's negative that I can talk about in spoiler. I don't think this is a major spoiler, but Tom Holland is a British actor. He has a very thick British accent when he is just living life, doing his press tour or whatever the fuck. And I've never clocked him being British in any movie before that he's doing an American accent until this one. I think I clocked it a couple times. The way he says a couple of words, I was like, oh, that's not as good as it used to be. So that is something I did want to bring up. No, do not give me this. He is a British actor playing a New York actor and a New York character, and he has never been British before, and the way he says certain words, it's oh no, that's very British. I'm allowed to dock points for that.
I did not notice that, obviously. What was the thing you said right before that? Oh, his best acting performance.
Yeah.
I agree. The high of the May scene, obviously in No Way Home is up there, and Civil War I think is maybe the best 20 minutes of Spider-Man we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
But if we're talking an entire movie and throughout, I think potentially it's Tom's best performance. I think he's given stuff to do. Almost every scene that is impressive, and he does a lot throughout this movie. One of my first positive that I wrote down was just the Peter stuff and the struggles that he's going through. And my second point under that was Tom acting is great with all of that. I think what he's dealing with really makes sense coming off of No Way Home and the way it's affecting him. And one of my favorite things is that in this movie, in Spider-Man Brand New Day, Peter's character as a person, him being a sacrificial, loving, caring person, and that being who he is, and that's what makes him Peter, and that's what makes him Spider-Man, that's what makes him both, really shines in this movie. And I think that might be one of my favorite things in the movie.
100%.
The action, you see 3 fights in the trailer. You know the tank is a thing, the Hulk is a thing, the hand is a thing.
Yep.
All of those are great and unique in their own way.
Yep.
And I think maybe this was in an interview or whatever, but maybe it was Destin that said the Insomniac games
Oh yeah.
inspired a lot of the action sequences. You feel that 100%. I was like, oh, maybe that's gonna, just be a general inspiration. No, but there were moments where I was like, oh, that's a Spidey takedown. Like he just pressed X or whatever. And we came out of the movie, and someone that I was talking to who had not seen that interview came up to me and was like, it felt like the Insomniac games. And I was like, Destin said that. He was like, no, I didn't even know that. So the action was great. And the thing about Brand New Day is we can compare it to other action sequences in other movies, like the train sequence, like the Liberty fight, Statue of Liberty fight, like the Times Square fight in TASM 2. Like all these are individual things, but I think Brand New Day in sheer volume has the most Spider-Man action than any other Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and it's the biggest highlight of the movie, I think. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up TASM 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it brings me to the next couple things I wanted to say while we're in the non-spoiler talk, which is I hate to do this, and I hate to give you flowers at all in any way. But the best thing in Spider-Man Brand New Day to me personally is the action. But I think TASM 2's action is better. And the second best thing in Spider-Man Brand New Day to me is how good it looks. But TASM 2 looks better. And so I do think that TASM 2 is a clearly worse movie than Spider-Man Brand New Day. It just has problems that Spider-Man Brand New Day doesn't have. But like, I am saying this to say that I do get TASM 2 reheated nachos vibes from Spider-Man Brand New Day a lot. And like, they said, they were like Tom Holland was like, I've been watching videos, I've been watching podcasts, Destin Daniel Cretton. Like they keep saying like, we've been listening to the fans. And I'm like, you could definitely tell in spots where it was like, oh yeah, we've been yelling at them about this forever, and so they did that like TASM 2. The suit is another great example. But I do think that listening to fans too much can sometimes get you in trouble. Like Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker, that's a product of fan outrage about something. So there is like a fine line that you can't really cross, and I think that Spider-Man Brand New Day does do an overall great job with that. I will say though, like I was watching it and I was like, God, this is so great. That's not the Times Square scene though. And I was like, God, the swinging looks so good, but it's not that opening scene after the plane scene in TASM 2. So it's like, it's weird. I'm in this like weird limbo about it. Your take about TASM 2 continues to age. I don't want to say well, but interestingly.
Yeah, so like I said, I think in Brand New Day, there's the sheer volume of action is more than TASM 2, and I think they do some interesting things that TASM 2 doesn't. I mean, he's Brand New Day has more fights. He's fighting more interesting things, like the tank and like Hulk and like the Hand, and it's just constant and it's great. I don't know if a singular fight tops what happens in the Times Square for me. The slow-mo backflip with the music and everything. Like, I don't think there was one particular moment that was that epic in terms of action. But, I mean, I think there's more moments where I was watching in Brand New Day and being like, oh, this is cool more often. So it's a little bit hard to compare. Maybe the TASM 2 has highs that, the highest highs in TASM 2 are higher in terms of action than Brand New Day, but Brand New Day has more. And also, it looks better. I still, even from the trailers, I was still like, I still think TASM 2 looks a little bit better in terms of swinging in the suit and everything. But again, this looks the best that we've gotten since TASM 2, so it's still amazing, right? And freaking... we know the industry and we know how weird it is now, and we know how VFX artists are paid and how they cut corners and everything, and how things like Pacific Rim and all this stuff and TASM 2 look better even though they were from 15 years ago. So I think that's probably what it is just that TASM 2 had freaking 200 more people working on it. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's like a huge gap between TASM 2, and I'm the TASM 2 glazer. But yeah, I agree with you. Some of the stuff still looks better. But that's not really a complaint about the action in this movie, because it's still freaking amazing.
Absolutely.